Hi, Southwoods. Mrs. Lindsay back again to discuss Introduction to Statistics and Central Tendency. Statistics is the study of data, and typically we study a finite sample size. So, for example, we have a sample size here. If we counted these numbers, there would be 20 in the sample size. The dot plot here records a visual map of the type of data that we have. If you notice on this dot plot, the data is pushed more towards the smaller side. We call this skewed right because the tail, if you think of it like a little tail, is on the right side. If you add the numbers, we get a sum, and that's the symbol for sum, of 64. If you divide that by the sample size, n, which is 20, that gives us our mean, or x bar, which is 3.2. To get the median, we want to get to the middle of these 20 numbers. So to get to the middle of 20 numbers, there will be 10 on each side. So we would split this into a lower half of 10 and an upper half of 10. So if I count to the 10th number on each side of the dot plot, or if I count the data, as long as it's in order, from each side, I would actually get 3 on each side. If I got two different numbers, I would simply add the two middles. So I'd add the middles and divide by 2. So here are the answers. There is a much easier way to do this, and that would be on the graphing calculator. If you go to the graphing calculator on your Stat Edit, which is this button here, Stat Edit would be the menu, you would hit enter, and you would type in your list exactly as you see it. It doesn't need to be in order, just exactly as you see it. You're only going to type in one list of data, so therefore, when you enter this, your calculator, if you go to the Stat Calc and go to one variable statistics, because we only have one list of data, you'll get this screen, which will only give you the one list. If you continue to hit enter, you will get all the statistics that you need for one variable. What it doesn't give is the range. So it doesn't give the range. Or the interquartile range. So the range and the IQR, the interquartile range, are not given here. You would have to figure those out from subtracting the max from the min, or the third quartile, Q3. So the IQR would be to subtract Q3, the third quartile, minus Q1. And the calculator will give you all this. So if I look at my next slide, I have a set of data here. And if I go to my calculator, I can find the min, the max. I can find the mean. The mean would be X bar. The median. The first quartile, would say Q1. The third quartile would say Q3. And the interquartile range you would have to figure out by subtracting Q3 minus Q1. What it also doesn't do is tally. So what you need to do is kind of tally these yourself. So if you look on the next slide, where we found the answers from the calculator, you would kind of need to tally these if you needed to make a frequency distribution here, right? So if I look at 8.6, I would probably check that off and put a little tally mark in 8.6. 7.9, I would do the same, and so on. And then I would add all those up, all those tally marks up, and you could get your frequency distribution. You could also make your box and whisker here, or your box plot. This would be the min, 7.9, and this would be the max, 13. Your median would be in the middle of the box, and your Q1 and Q3 would be on the outer edges of the box. Now, we talked a little bit before about skewed distribution. The skew is where the tail is. So if your distribution is normal, we would say the median is in the center. The median and the mean would actually be equal. And the box plot would look just like this, very centered. So the median is equal to the mean in a normal distribution. Skewed right, the tail would be here to the right. All the data would actually be pushed left. Skewed left, the tail is to the left. All the data would actually be skewed right. So remember, the skew is where the tail is. The tail tells you where the skew is. Okay? We have some problems for you to try. Answers on the slides following. And there will be an assignment for you to do and hand in. That will be posted soon. So practice these, giving you some data sets, and I'll see you online if you have questions.